If you're running a business and asking people to come and be in your space, the reality is that you're competing against any other way that people can spend their time and money. From a trampoline park to bowling to wave pools to skate parks to going to the bar or just sitting at home and watching Netflix. These are all ways that people can choose to spend their time. So, what is it about you that is going to bring them to your location? What is it about your business that is unique? What's your identity? This becomes a strategically important thing so that you can actually have people who love you and want to come back. So, whether or not you're a restaurant that people love or a location like this in Grand Central that has a certain space and an iconic feel to it, or even movies, this is all a way that is instantly recognizable and something that you need to define as your business. And so, if you're in the climbing world, are you just another climbing fitness yoga place? And this is just, I see this all the time. And the question I always ask is, how can we play bigger? What else can we be? That question of what else? What else can we be looking at to see through the noise of life, to see something deeper, something that we can actually connect with people on? And that question of asking what else is really a way that I find can help organize things. And what I really mean by that is the community is not a community just because we say so. And what we're trying to do is attract people in a way that brings them together, in a way that creates spaces and a sort of output and people wanting to be there, not because we say so, but because that's how it is genuinely growing. And an example of this would be, like these co-working spaces that were certainly not excellent co-working spaces in and of themselves for the furniture and that kind of thing, but the way that they're put together, this is how we can actually create identity. And that identity is what is bringing people back, so that these different events and these different reasons for people to be there, for families to be there, for both physical activities, for mental activities and events, and all sorts of ways that we can actually bake this into building projects. And so bake in spaces that allow for this kind of adventure and for this kind of way of being. But in any of these cases, it's the identity that you have as a business that when there is competition, if there isn't competition already, there will be. And even if there isn't direct competition, again, you're competing with any other way for people to be spending their time and money. So, what is it about your identity as a business, your perspective, the way that you invite people in, the way that you ask, what else can we be, the way that you become a community center, so that just like in a restaurant, when the next hot one opens down the street, people still come back to you. And I look at restaurants often as an analogy for a lot of this because there's always a lot of restaurants or there's a lot of coffee shops. People will open these things up across the street from another one. So it's not about having your own corner where you have the market cornered. And that isn't a bad thing if you do have that, of course. But I think the idea that that is always going to be the case is just not the way it is. And so being able to have an identity becomes a strategically important part of having a long-term and sustainable and resilient business, so that when the next person comes in or when the next thing comes out that is vying for people's attention, they still want to go back to the place that they love because they resonate with your message, your identity, the way that you operate your facility, all these different things that are part of that identity and part of why you can develop a successful business in the long run. So I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully that's helpful.